Welcome back to Narrations. Today's story is about a girl who refuses to shrink herself for the world, even when the world keeps telling her she should. This is the story of Dumplin, 2018. In a small Texas town where beauty pageants are practically a religion, we meet Willowdean Dickson, a plus-sized teenager with a sharp wit, a stubborn heart, and a deep love for classic country music, especially Dolly Parton. Her mother, Rosie Dickson, is the exact opposite of Willowdean. Rosie is a former beauty queen who now runs the town's annual Miss Teen Bluebonnet pageant. She's glamorous, polished, and always surrounded by hairspray, glitter, and perfect smiles. Willowdean isn't interested in any of that. She's comfortable wearing jeans and t-shirts, blasting Dolly Parton songs, and spending time with her best friend Ellen, whom she lovingly calls Elle. But despite their love, Willowdean and her mother have an awkward distance between them. Rosie doesn't know how to connect with her daughter, and Willowdean feels like she's always being compared to the pageant girls her mom admires. The one person who truly understood Willowdean was her Aunt Lucy. Lucy was loud, joyful, unapologetically herself, and she adored Dolly Parton just as much as Willowdean does. Lucy always told her that beauty doesn't come from fitting into someone else's mold. Sadly, Lucy passed away recently, leaving behind a quiet space in Willowdean's life that nothing seems able to fill. But Lucy's spirit lingers through the music they loved. Every time Willowdean listens to Dolly Parton, it feels like Lucy is still beside her. During the summer, Willowdean works at a small fast food restaurant with her friend Ellen. Life there is simple: greasy burgers, loud music, and teenage gossip. That's where Willowdean starts noticing Beau, a shy and sweet coworker with a gentle smile. Beau doesn't look at Willowdean the way others do. He doesn't see her as the big girl. He just sees her. They start flirting during shifts, joking around while working the grill and serving customers. Slowly, a soft romance begins to bloom. For the first time in a long while, Willowdean feels something close to happiness. One evening, Beau surprises her with a small but sincere compliment. He tells her she's beautiful. And Willowdean doesn't know how to handle it. Because when you grow up hearing the world say girls like you aren't supposed to be beautiful, compliments can feel like a trick. Still, their relationship grows. They share milkshakes, awkward smiles, and quiet conversations under the warm Texas nights. But Willowdean's confidence begins to crack. When Beau tries to kiss her one evening, she pulls away suddenly. Not because she doesn't like him, but because deep down, she believes someone like him couldn't truly want someone like her. Ashamed and confused, she begins distancing herself from Beau. At the same time, Willowdean becomes increasingly frustrated with her mother and the pageant culture surrounding her. Everywhere she looks are thin girls in sparkling gowns being judged for their beauty. And every time she hears the pageant announcements, it reminds her how little she fits into that world. One day, while sorting through Aunt Lucy's belongings, Willowdean finds something unexpected. A Miss Teen Bluebonnet pageant application. Lucy had secretly kept it. Maybe she had always believed Willowdean belonged there. At first, Willowdean laughs at the idea. But then something shifts inside her. What if she entered the pageant? Not to win. Not to become a beauty queen. But to challenge the system that says girls like her don't belong. So in a moment of rebellious courage, Willowdean fills out the application and submits it. When the pageant committee sees her name, they're shocked. But technically, there's no rule saying she can't compete. And when news spreads through school that the pageant director's plus-sized daughter is entering the beauty contest, everyone starts talking. Some laugh. Some whisper. But something unexpected happens. Willowdean's bold move inspires other girls who also feel like outsiders. First, there's Millie, a cheerful and confident girl who refuses to hide her love for glitter and dancing. Then Hannah, a quiet girl who struggles with severe acne. And Amanda, a tall girl who feels like she's too different to fit into traditional beauty standards. Together, they decide to enter the pageant too. Suddenly, what began as one girl's protest becomes something bigger. a quiet rebellion. Meanwhile, Rosie, Willowdean's mother, is horrified. She believes Willowdean is setting herself up for humiliation. Rosie insists the pageant is serious and prestigious. But Willowdean doesn't care. For the first time in her life, she's refusing to play small. As the competition approaches, Willowdean and her new friends begin preparing for the pageant, learning how to walk the stage, practicing interviews, and choosing outfits. But deep inside, Willowdean still struggles with her insecurities. Because standing on a stage in front of hundreds of people means facing every fear she's carried for years. Every judgment. Every whisper. Every cruel look. And the biggest question of all: can she believe in herself the way Aunt Lucy always believed in her? The stage lights are coming. The audience will be watching. And soon, Willowdean will have to step forward and decide whether she's ready to be seen. But the real challenge hasn't even begun yet. Because sometimes the hardest person to convince that you're beautiful is yourself. As the Miss Teen Bluebonnet pageant draws closer, the town's excitement grows. Posters appear everywhere. Dresses are being stitched. Judges are being finalized. But for Willowdean, the pageant has become something much deeper than a competition. It's a test of courage. At first, preparing for the pageant feels awkward and uncomfortable. Willowdean and the other girls try practicing the graceful pageant walk, but instead of elegance, they mostly end up laughing at themselves. Still, something beautiful begins to grow between them. What started as a protest is slowly turning into friendship. Millie brings endless positivity, encouraging everyone to embrace the spotlight. Hannah slowly gains confidence as she realizes people admire her courage. Amanda, who once hid behind her hair, begins standing a little taller. And Willowdean starts to see something she never expected. She's not alone. Meanwhile, she also reconnects with an unexpected group of mentors. Aunt Lucy had once taken Willowdean to a drag bar, where performers dressed in dazzling gowns and performed songs by Dolly Parton. These drag queens had always admired Lucy and treated Willowdean like family. When Willowdean returns, unsure of herself, they welcome her with open arms. They remind her of something Lucy always believed: confidence doesn't come from fitting in. It comes from owning who you are. Inspired by them, Willowdean and the girls practice their talents, stage presence, and confidence. For a moment, it feels like they might actually be ready. But Willowdean's personal struggles aren't over. Her relationship with Beau is still strained. Beau doesn't understand why Willowdean keeps pushing him away. To him, she's beautiful and funny and real. But Willowdean is still fighting the voice in her head that says she isn't good enough. One day, Beau finally confronts her. He tells her gently but firmly that her insecurities are hurting both of them. He likes her exactly the way she is. But he can't keep proving it over and over if she refuses to believe it. The truth hits Willowdean hard. Because the biggest barrier between them isn't Beau. It's her own self-doubt. At the same time, tensions rise between Willowdean and her mother Rosie. Rosie insists she's only trying to protect her daughter from embarrassment. But Willowdean sees it differently. To her, Rosie has spent her entire life celebrating a beauty standard Willowdean could never meet. Their arguments become painful and emotional. But beneath the anger lies something else. Both of them are grieving Aunt Lucy. Lucy had always been the bridge between them. Without her, they don't know how to connect anymore. Finally, the night of the pageant arrives. The auditorium is packed. Bright lights shine across the stage as the contestants prepare backstage, adjusting dresses and fixing makeup. Some girls are nervous. Some are excited. But Willowdean feels something unexpected. Calm. Because no matter what happens tonight, she already changed something. Not just for herself, but for every girl who ever felt like she didn't belong. One by one, the contestants walk onto the stage. Traditional pageant girls glide across the floor with practiced elegance. Then it's Willowdean's turn. Instead of hiding or trying to imitate the others, she steps onto the stage proudly, wearing an outfit inspired by Dolly Parton. The music begins. And Willowdean performs with joy, confidence, and a little bit of rebellion. She doesn't try to be perfect. She just tries to be herself. The audience watches in surprise, then admiration. Soon the other outsider contestants take their turns too. Millie dances with dazzling energy. Hannah speaks confidently during her interview. Amanda stands tall and proud. Together, they transform the pageant stage into something completely different. Not a place of judgment, but a place of self-expression. Backstage, Rosie watches everything unfold. And for the first time, she truly sees her daughter. Not as someone who needs to fit the pageant mold, but as someone brave enough to challenge it. In that moment, Rosie realizes something painful. Her daughter never needed protection. She needed support. When the winners are finally announced, Willowdean doesn't take the crown. But strangely, it doesn't matter. Because the real victory happened long before the judges made their decision. Willowdean walks off the stage to thunderous applause, surrounded by her friends. Rosie meets her backstage. For a moment, neither of them speaks. Then Rosie pulls her daughter into a tight hug. Not as a pageant director. Not as a beauty queen. But simply as a mother who finally understands her daughter. Later, Willowdean reconnects with Beau too. This time, she doesn't run away from his affection. She accepts it. Because she's finally learning to accept herself. The story ends with Willowdean and her friends celebrating together, laughing and dancing under the bright Texas lights. They didn't just compete in a pageant. They changed it. And somewhere, in spirit, Aunt Lucy would be smiling, proud of the girl who finally stepped into the spotlight without apology. Because sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is simply refuse to hide. If you enjoyed listening to this story, please like, share, and subscribe to Narrations for more heartfelt movie stories and nostalgic films. I'll see you in the next one.